What if the things you spent your whole life chasing are the very things that will bring you the least comfort in old age? There comes a moment in life when the things that once seemed so important begin to lose their grip on us. In our younger years, many of us believed that happiness could be found in having more. More money, more success, more possessions, more achievements. We spent decades striving, building, and chasing the next milestone, convinced that fulfillment was always waiting just beyond the next accomplishment. But as the years pass, something unexpected happens. The question changes. We no longer ask, "How can I get more?" Instead, we begin to wonder, "What do I actually need to live a good life?" The Buddha taught that much of human suffering comes not from having too little, but from spending our lives pursuing what is unnecessary while overlooking what is truly essential. As we grow older, certain truths become clearer. Not luxury, not status, not youth. There are 5 simple things that become increasingly valuable with age. 5 things that can bring peace to the mind, meaning to the heart, and fulfillment to the years ahead. Today, we will explore them together. The first thing you need in old age is not a larger house, a bigger savings account, or a more comfortable chair. It is a mind that knows how to be at peace. Many people spend decades working hard to create a comfortable life. They save money, build careers, raise families, and eventually reach a stage where their responsibilities become lighter. Yet something unexpected often happens. Even when life becomes more comfortable, the mind does not automatically become more peaceful. The Buddha once taught that the mind can be our greatest friend or our greatest source of suffering. Long before circumstances create pain, the mind creates worry, regret, fear, and endless what-if questions. A troubled mind can turn a peaceful afternoon into a restless one. It can steal joy from moments that should be appreciated. There is a story of a wealthy man who possessed everything he had once dreamed of. He owned a beautiful home, had financial security, and lacked nothing material. Yet every night he lay awake in bed. His mind replayed old mistakes, worried about the future, and imagined problems that had not yet happened. Despite all his comfort, he could not find rest. One day, he visited a monk and asked, "Why am I unhappy when I already have enough?" The monk replied, "Because your house is comfortable, but your mind is not." Those simple words changed the way he saw his life. As we grow older, peace of mind becomes more valuable than almost anything else. The ability to sit quietly without being chased by worry is a treasure few people appreciate until they need it. Because if the mind is troubled, no amount of comfort feels like enough. But a peaceful mind alone is not enough. Because peace without connection can slowly become isolation. The second thing you need in old age is someone who truly listens. Many people fear loneliness as they grow older. But if we are honest, loneliness is not always the deepest pain. Sometimes the deeper pain is feeling unseen. Feeling as though no one truly understands what is in your heart. Feeling forgotten in a world that moves faster each year. The Buddha taught that true connection is not measured by the number of people around us. It is measured by presence. One person who listens with genuine attention can bring more comfort than a room full of casual acquaintances. There is a story of an elderly monk who had spent most of his life in a monastery. Over the years, he had met countless visitors, students, and travelers. Many admired him. Many sought his advice, and many knew his name. Yet there was one person he treasured above all others, a childhood friend who visited him once every few months. When asked why those visits meant so much, the monk smiled and said, "Because he does not come to learn from me. He comes simply to be with me." During those visits, they often sat together for long periods without saying much at all. There was no need to impress, explain, or perform. Their friendship had moved beyond words. As we age, we begin to understand a quiet truth. The heart does not need hundreds of connections. It needs a few honest ones. Someone with whom silence feels comfortable. Someone before whom you can be completely yourself. Most people spend years collecting acquaintances and very little time nurturing the few relationships that truly sustain the heart. Yet those relationships often become one of life's greatest treasures. And yet, even with a peaceful mind and one true connection, something else is needed. Something that gives each new morning its own reason to begin. The third thing you need in old age is a reason to wake up tomorrow. One of the quietest fears people experience after retirement is not boredom. It is the feeling of no longer being needed. For decades, life may have been filled with responsibilities. There were jobs to do, people to care for, places to be, and problems to solve. Then one day, much of that structure disappears. At first, the freedom feels welcome. But over time, some people begin to ask themselves a difficult question. What am I here for now? The Buddha taught that purpose is not tied to a job title, a paycheck, or a position in society. Those roles may come and go, but the opportunity to contribute never disappears. Meaning can still be found in even the smallest acts of service. There is a story about an elderly woman who felt lost after retiring. Her children were grown, her career had ended, and her days seemed empty. For months, she wandered through each week without direction. One afternoon, she learned that several children in her community were struggling to read. Although she was no longer a teacher, she volunteered to spend a few hours each week helping them. The first day, she almost did not go. She sat by the door with her coat on, telling herself she was too old, too tired, that it would not make a difference. But she went anyway. What began as a small commitment slowly transformed her life. The children improved. They looked forward to seeing her. One little boy, who had once refused to open a book at all, read a full sentence aloud one afternoon and looked up at her with wide eyes. He, to look away, so he would not see her cry. And each morning, she woke up knowing that someone was waiting for her. Her purpose had not returned. It had simply changed its form. This is an important truth. You do not need a grand mission to give life meaning. Sometimes all you need is one person to help, one project to nurture, or one reason to step into tomorrow. The happiest elders are rarely the busiest. They simply have something that still calls them forward. But purpose and connection and peace of mind can all be undone by one thing: the weight of what we refuse to release. The fourth thing you need in old age is the ability to let go. This may be the one lesson most people never fully learn. Many people grow older, but they continue carrying the weight of what no longer exists. They cling to younger versions of themselves, to opportunities that were missed, to mistakes they wish they could undo, or to roles they once held but no longer have. The Buddha taught that attachment is one of the greatest causes of suffering. We suffer not only because things change, but because we resist that change. We keep wishing life would return to what it once was, even though life is always moving forward. There is a story of a man who spent years talking about the past. Every conversation eventually returned to the same theme. He spoke about the successful business he once owned, the home he used to live in, and the years he considered the best of his life. As time passed, he became increasingly unhappy. Nothing in the present seemed good enough because he was constantly comparing it to a version of life that no existed. One day, a monk asked him a simple question. If you spend all your time living in yesterday, who will live today? The question stayed with him. He had no answer, but somehow the question was enough. Gradually, he began to understand that he was grieving not only what he had lost, but also refusing to embrace what remained. The present moment could never compete with an idealized memory. As we grow older, letting go becomes a form of freedom, letting go of old regrets, letting go of the need to be who we once were, letting go of expectations that no longer serve us. Because peace is not found by holding tighter. It is found by loosening our grip. Many people grow old. Few learn how to release what no longer belongs to them. And when we do finally loosen that grip, when we let go of what has already passed, we create space for something quiet and powerful to enter. The fifth and final thing you need in old age is a heart filled with gratitude. As the years pass, it becomes easy to focus on what has been lost. Youth fades, friends move away or pass on, the body changes, certain dreams remain unfinished. If we are not careful, we can spend our later years counting what is missing instead of appreciating what remains. The Buddha taught that gratitude is not simply a pleasant emotion. It is a way of seeing. It changes how we experience life. Two people can live through nearly identical circumstances, yet one feels content while the other feels deprived. There is a story about two elderly neighbors who had remarkably similar lives. Both had retired. Both lived alone after losing their spouses. Both experienced health challenges and lived on modest incomes. Yet their outlooks were completely different. The first man spent most of his days dwelling on what life had taken from him. He spoke often about his declining health, the opportunities he never had, and the things that no longer brought him joy. No matter what he received, it never seemed enough. The second man faced many of the same difficulties, yet he began each morning by reflecting on something he was thankful for. Some days it was a warm cup of tea. Other days it was a conversation with a friend, the sound of birds outside his window, or simply waking up to see another sunrise. Neither man's circumstances were perfect, but one focused on what was absent, the other focused on what was still present. Over time, that difference shaped their entire experience of life. Gratitude does not erase pain. It does not undo loss or change the past, but it allows us to see the blessings that remain hidden behind our disappointments. Gratitude does not change what happened. It changes what remains. What do we really need in old age? Not more possessions, not more status, not another decade of youth, a peaceful mind, one true connection, a reason to wake up tomorrow, the ability to let go, and a grateful heart. The Buddha never promised a life without loss. He taught something far more valuable, that peace comes not from what we accumulate, but from what we finally stop carrying. These 5 things may seem simple, but for those who truly live them, they are more than enough. Of these 5 things, which one do you believe is most important in old age? And which one do you wish you had more of right now? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your words may be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. If this brought you a little peace, subscribe. We explore Buddhist wisdom for living with more calm, clarity, and compassion. Take care of yourself and be gentle with your heart.